Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you? Did you freeze? You look like you froze. Uh-oh.
No,
That was weird. It definitely looked like you froze there for a second. Uh,
shouldn't.
well,
This is the company machine. It should be a little quicker than everything else.
wow. So, anything new? Anything going on?
Nah, I this close to Christmas, I quit thinking.
Yeah.
Doesn't help.
We went to Five Below this morning, and I I I get it. I mean, we're buying toys for the kids, but it's it's stuff they're going to break within minutes. I mean,
Yep,
cheap plastic. So I told Patty I would just much rather go and buy one really nice thing than a whole bunch of small things.
something a little sturdier.
Yeah. But she did find, so one of the grandkids wants Hello Kitty. She's into Hello Kitty. So we found a blanket and some bath soaps and some other something else that I didn't think was going to just get tore up and probably get used. That was Hello Kitty related because I figured, eh, at minimum she's going to use the bath soaps to she'll dump all of it in at one time and have a whole bunch of bubbles and in the blanket. I mean, you can't go wrong with a blanket usually. So
When I was, shoot, I don't know, maybe 8 years old, I was shopping for Christmas with my mother, and we were in some store in Northgate Mall that sold soaps and stuff. And I found something that I thought smelled good, bought it for my grandmother, whose reaction was, "Do you think I stink?" Like, damn. So, yeah, I I was taught early on that I'm not good at picking Christmas presents, and I'm okay with that. Now I just give cash.
yeah.
It's the right
Uh,
color, right size.
so the other the other grandkids, right? They were like they gave us a list of books, but we talked to Amanda, their mom, and Amanda bought the stuff. And I'm like, but you already got them a PlayStation 5 and an iPad uh, Pro Mini or whatever the hell that thing is. So you've already spent like a crap ton of money. So we just came to the conclusion that they're getting 20 bucks and they're going to be happy.
Yep,
They
and
get
they will.
they get to go and choose whatever they want. Because yeah, we kind of have we put a little bit of a limit because Patty would spend every dime we had if she could buying stuff.
Hmm.
She was walking through Five Below and she probably had $50 worth of stuff, and I'm like, no, put
I don't
back
think I've
all.
ever been in Five Below.
Uh, Five Below is kind of a it's an interesting store. They're kind of a liquidation outlet and kind of a we buy the cheapest Chinese crap we could find and put it on the shelves outlet. Um, so they do buy some closeouts from time to time. And those you generally can get some moderately decent deals from. Um, but the stuff that they import from China, I mean, it's just bad stuff. It's just
Yep, I get it.
you know, they're they do have they've now started a Beyond Five section, which is $20 or less usually. And I mean their whole stick was everything in the store is $5 or
Mhm.
less. So you're not getting quality. You're getting you're getting a bunch of crap for $5.
Yep.
And we went to so up there at the Dayton Mall, there's an Ollie's too, which is, that's another
Mhm.
liquidation outlet. Um, Ollie's is always hit or miss. They have gotten expensive, but I was walking through there and I found some stuff that our local Walmart has had out on clearance for the past couple of weeks for $5. They want $10 for the exact same thing.
There's an Ollie's on Hamilton Avenue that I've been to pretty often. And years ago, that one was a good place to get weird food if you're willing to take the risk. And they had like 5 pound bags of the ends of um, dried sausage and stuff. It
Hmm.
was pretty darn good. It was like $3, and the the Wisconsin meats beef sticks that they
Yeah,
were from were $4 a pound.
right.
So yeah, that worked out real well. But yeah, you're right. They've gotten kind of expensive
Yeah. They
unless you want religious books.
Yes. But Ollie's has always kind of been hit or miss. I mean,
Mhm.
and they are at least the one up here in Dayton. Um, it, that is probably the worst organized store I have ever been in my life. That the books are organized fairly well, but everything else is just wherever they can find a spot.
Yep. One thing they did have at one point, and I was looking through, they had a whole bunch of old Revell models. Don't know where they came from, but they were 1970 to 1980 vintage
Yeah,
Revell plastic model kits. Some weird stuff too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I Probably a year ago was the last time we went into Ollie's, and I was walking through there and they still have some stuff there that I recognize from like a year ago. So, yeah. And I was like, eh, but I have found a few things in there. The one down on Hamilton Avenue, they were selling D&D board games. Not board games, just
The books.
the books.
Yeah.
And they had them cheap. And I walked out of there and not bought any of them, and I should have bought all of them because I went back and I looked on eBay and I was like, holy crap. They could have
Monster
sold.
Manual 2 goes for $25.
Yeah, and they wanted like $3 or something for it. I should have just, these are all mine. And so we went back down there and every one of them was gone. And I was like, yep, that figures.
Somebody else got them.
Somebody else figured they had them way too cheap.
I haven't played D&D in so long. Good grief. Like 30 years.
Uh, I have, I still have, well, I have the modern box sets. I've got the books from the original box set. I don't have the original box set anymore, but I've got the books from it. And I've got an early book that I'm not real sure where it came from, but I am fairly sure that it was the one that they got sued over because they were using hobbits or something.
Oh, yeah. Early
And
on,
or
before they
the
called them halflings.
yeah, yeah. And I've got one book that says hobbits, and it's just it's there's nothing special about it. It's like it's typewritten type
Hmm.
uh style, and I don't know where that book came from. I'm holding on to it forever, but I don't I don't know where it came from. I don't know where I acquired that book from. But I've got oh I want to say at least 100 different RPGs sitting around the on various bookshelves.
Huh. I didn't know Gary Gygax had died. He did in 2008 in Wisconsin.
Hmm,
I met him in 2004 or so.
wow.
Hmm.
I'm not sure that I knew he died. That's interesting.
He was born in 38, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a while. And he worked for TSR.
Hmm.
Yeah, there used to be a little hobby shop in Fairfield on Pleasant Avenue. It was run by a fairly eccentric guy. I mean, you kind of have to be to run a hobby shop. And he introduced me to some people that worked at Raoul Partha. And every month he would get in a whole pile of stuff from Raoul Partha. And I'd go through and pick out stuff I liked, and he'd give me four or five of everything. I'd paint them, take them back, and he'd pick the half that he liked the best. And he was selling miniatures that I was painting and sold them pretty quick. There were a lot of miniatures around Cincinnati that I painted. I got pretty good at it. And 84, I guess, I was hitchhiking around the country, ended up in Alaska. I worked up there for 6 months. Every night I'd go out on a horse and look for lost people and pan for gold and come back. And when I left there, I had 14 troy ounces of gold. Later on, ran into folks from Ralpartha, and we cast solid gold hobbits,
Neat.
which I painted and left on my mother's mantle for years. Went back and I told her, Mom, don't get rid of these. If you don't like them, you let me know. And so, yeah, I had at the time gold was going for about $320 an ounce.
Yeah.
So I had quite a bit of money there. When gold got up to $800 an ounce, I melted them down and sold them.
Uh,
And now gold is 1500 an ounce. Maybe, I don't know, probably more than that. Uh, Spot price of gold. Yes, I'm using an ad blocker and will continue to. Oh, oh, looks like gold is almost $2,600 an ounce.
yeah. You sold it too soon.
Yeah, $2,000 an ounce too soon. But I paid nothing for it, just time. And I wasn't doing anything up there anyway.
Yeah. Well, free money. That's
Yep.
that's always good. But
I was working for the National Parks District at Fort Yukon, Alaska. And literally, I was on a horse for 2 weeks, stayed in Garrison a week, went out a different direction for 2 weeks. It was hilarious.
hmm,
It was one of the most entertaining times of my life.
make make sure that people don't get lost out there in the tundra.
Yep.
Uh, I I really wanted I really wanted to move to Alaska. Patty has finally convinced me that I don't really want to move to Alaska. Patty doesn't want to move to Alaska. That's
I can kind of understand that.
no. I kind of wanted to just get away from everything. Just everything.
I've done that a couple of times. Keep coming back to Cincinnati. We have weather here.
Well, yeah, I mean I've lived pretty much all over the place on the East Coast. But I keep coming home. Uh-oh. One of my Hot Wheel cars just randomly decided to jump off the wall and fall. It's been there for years. What the? Okay.
So when I get bored at work and have nothing to do, I wander around and look at the libraries. We have tens of thousands of books going back forever. Um, Programming manuals for Qt and older windowing systems, just weird stuff. Today I came across a 1994 Silicon Graphics price book. I
Okay.
have no I have no idea how they ended up with this because this would have been a thing that would have been hoarded by salesmen, but it has prices for stuff. Um, 32 meg memory upgrades for an Iris Indigo 2, which wasn't much of a computer.
Yeah. I remember the Iris. I remember the Indigo.
$5,300.
I was gonna say I bet that's got to be around 5 grand.
Yep. The the Indigo 2 R8000 with extreme graphics, 64 megs of RAM, a 2 gig system disk, and a 20-inch monitor, $57,500.
Oh, I would have been cheap. I would have been way low on that one. Okay.
Yeah, me too. This is a machine with a 200 megahertz primary bus. I just,
It
I'm astounded.
it wasn't so much what the specs were, it was what those machines could do.
Yeah, you could edit video on one of those at that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. It, those machines were seemingly underspec'd and could do all kinds of cool stuff. I remember buying a couple of them from auction and setting them up and playing with them a little bit and going, wow, these things are really cool. I don't have any idea what the hell I would do with them other than sell them on eBay. I don't know if you're going to be able to see what I'm about ready to show you or not. Let's see if I can. Uh, maybe not. Maybe I won't be able to highlight myself. I don't know if you can tell just how smooth that surface is.
Looks smooth and shiny.
Yeah, that's this is the original, the non
Hmm.
the non-ironed out. So that setting is called ironing,
Okay.
and it's in the quality control of Orca. And since Orca is based on whatever else, it's probably in the same spot. But you select ironing, and I selected just the top surfaces, and then I told it to do a circular pattern. And I think all it's doing is it's printing this, and then it's taking the hot end and just running over top of it.
Hmm. Yeah, it probably has to retract the filament quite a bit before it does that.
Yeah, but I
Cool.
think that's really what it's doing. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you could really. There's like little patterns in there, and it's definitely a circular, doing like little circles. It's
Neat.
ama it's amazing, but it takes way too long for it to do that. So of course I did it twice because
Nice. So was that multicolor head, or
yeah,
did you do that as three separate?
no, it's I so the original STL file was just one single color,
Hmm.
and I went in and I painted it to be what I wanted, and put three different colors in the printer and told it to print. And
Cool.
I it's I used a little wall to wiping wall, which I'm not real sure I actually needed for this particular print, but that it didn't really add any extra time um, to the print. But I couldn't decide. I printed that first, and then I went, oh, I wonder what it would look like if I reversed the color and made it red.
Looks good.
And then I said, wow, I really like how that ironing effect turned out. So I had to print it in black with the ironing effect because I still couldn't decide if I like the red or not. I'm still not sure if I like the red. But um there is also in the strength section, I think it's the strength section. That is where I think, no, it's not strength, it's something else. Seam. It's in the quality section. I think it's called seam positioning, and I think that's what you were talking about, being able to move the layers around so that they're stronger.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Um,
Seam positioning.
yeah.
Um,
I haven't tried it, so I don't know if that's what that does or not. I've been I've been playing around,
yeah.
I've been messing with various and sundry settings just to see.
Yeah. I just brought up the process slicer to see if it has that ironing thing. I'm not seeing it, but that doesn't mean it isn't there.
Yeah, it's in the quality settings of Orca. So I have the advanced settings turned on so I can see more stuff. So I don't know. It it's very cool though. I was like, if I really wanted to do a really nice print, even though it adds time to do it, turn
Wouldn't be
the
that
iron
much
on.
time. It's like adding two more layers to it.
It added, well, I think just from me watching it, not really knowing what it's doing, it slowed it way down on the top layer.
Really? Okay.
And it did retract the thing. So I think it was just doing what it says, ironing the top layer, the top couple of layers. And it added like an hour and a half to the print.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot longer than I expected.
Yeah. But it was moving very slow too. So I don't know if it I don't know if it was, holding so that it gave time to melt everything and kind of get everything all. I basically I don't know how it works. I just know that it turned out really, really good. I really, I really digging how this Anycubic works. This thing, it's an amazing printer, and so far, really everything I've thrown at it, it just does it. It doesn't have a problem doing anything that I've told it to do. I am using a beta or an alpha version of Orca because when I tried the non-alpha version of it, the the release version, I couldn't add the profile, the Anycubic profile to it.
Hmm.
Um, the um, the release version had an Anycubic profile, but it's completely backwards. Everything it was, everything it told the printer to do, printed it completely backwards. The print bed is flipped, and then it looked to me like it was not only flipped, but it was also flipped in.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, how could you screw that up?
Well, actually, I can kind of understand it. Logically, most things you would expect to render from the upper left corner to the lower right corner.
Okay.
The way most things actually render is from the lower
Hmm.
left corner to the upper right. I don't know why, but that was true for that. Well, where I noticed it was PDF files. And then I went back and looked at other stuff I had played with earlier and realized that a lot of stuff does that.
Yeah.
Just, it's a
Well,
thing.
that's exactly what it looks like they have done is it, the orientation of the printer is 00 is the lower left corner, and they have put 00 at the upper right corner.
Hmm.
That's exactly what it looks like they've done. But it doesn't print right. Just, it's completely backwards because up at 00 on this printer or in the upper right corner is a wiping bar. There's an actual
Hmm.
bar on the print bed. And when they said to go to 00 being the upper right corner, that puts the print in the wiping bar. So they've completely done weird stuff. But the beta version worked just fine. And I can't find any reason why I should switch to something else. I really wish Anycubic would actually release their own software, but at least the profile they provide for Orca works. So, but I haven't since I got my hands on this Anycubic. I haven't even touched my Flash Forge. It's it's being sad right now. It's like come and print something, please. Patty told me to we were looking at just because it's Micro Center and I like looking at it. The Bamboo A1 combo is on sale for under $500 right now. Patty said, "Well, go get it." I'm like, "Do I really
Mm-mm.
need another $500 printer?" I
And
have
Marla doesn't tell me things like that.
you would do it, wouldn't you? I mean, I have two brand new printers still in the box sitting in the closet. I don't know if I need another printer.
I don't use my one often enough. Well, I have more than one, but I only have one that I actually have set up and working.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, honestly, this is what I've printed on that printer. I mean, I printed the Benchy boats and I printed
mhm.
Batman symbols and I printed stuff for the kids. I haven't used it for anything that why I originally ever bought a 3D printer in the first place. I am making toys. I have turned into a toy maker,
Nothing wrong with that.
you know. So I let's see. I'm looking at Micro Center.
Dangerous.
Yeah. Oh, they've got one of the A1, the Bamboo Lab A1 combo units, open box, $318. That's tempting. So I'm still I don't really understand the A1 and the Anycubic are roughly the same size printers. But my Anycubic is $370 versus $490. And to me, they look like they do about the same thing. I mean, I could see some difference, when the Max comes out, that that's going to have a way bigger print bed. I don't know if I really need a bigger print bed.
I like the clock components kit and the marble run components kit. I'm looking at that stuff on their website.
Okay. Is it in the maker?
Um, if you're at Micro Center and you search for bamboo,
Okay.
sort by price, it's the stuff at the top.
Okay. I'm not seeing it.
Um, Here, let me trying to drag the sharing bar off of there so I can see stuff. So I searched for Bamboo Lab by lowest price, clock component, marble run component, and I went to their website and they've got this. This is a coffee ground stirrer kit. I have no idea why. Um,
Okay.
the running dinosaur automation kit, just odd stuff. The endless loop express.
That is that is not stuff I would have expected to see on Bamboo Labs.
This is the stuff to make that thing.
Okay.
Little motor,
And
a switch, connector. Huh. But it doesn't really tell you anything about how to put it together.
or what it is or what it does. It's like a little train thing.
Yeah,
Interesting.
a train on an oval track.
Oh,
Um,
Endless Loop Express.
Ah, 40 bucks for this one. And it doesn't include any of the 3D printed parts. It's just bearings and motors, and some teeny tiny little bearings.
Yeah, those might be hard to find, but I bet everything else would be easy enough to get a hold of.
Yeah. Oh,
That's kind of
that's
neat.
long.
So they expect you to print the parts, and they're selling you this a motor and some bearings.
Yep. And shafting and assorted stuff.
Hmm.
I
That's
bought it.
that's neat, but
Yeah. Yeah. I was curious. $12 for a wireless mouse component kit. That's not too bad. Yeah. Stuff.
stuff. Oh, the engine's kind of neat. The engine model component kit.
I was looking for that. I hadn't found it yet.
Oh, that actually once I figure out where all that stuff was, that was actually one of the first things that popped up on my screen. It's $10, and it pretty much looks like I'm on the wrong computer. I can't share the screen.
Ah, okay. The little twin cylinder.
It's okay. I know somebody that's got plenty of screws. They may even have some springs. 16 magnets. Yeah, those should be easy enough to get.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how inexpensive magnets have become and good magnets. I'm old enough to remember when the best thing you could get were those crappy little Alnico magnets at Radio Shack that
Uh-huh.
would barely pick up a screw.
Oh, we're going to put it together. I don't want to see it put together. I want to see it working. So you get to print the parts and put it together. That's actually kind of cool. I guess for $10, that's not a horrible deal. But you know, Ray has more screws than he knows what to do with because he bought all those screws and stuff for those robots that he was building.
Yeah, I got a couple of boxes of screws. Sometimes Amazon tempts me with 1,500 screw assortments, and they're cheap.
I bought, what did I buy? I bought something off of AliExpress in one of their $3. You had to buy three things,
Hmm.
and I could not find a third thing to buy, so I ended up buying some solder thing,
Hmm.
crimp on solder.
Oh yeah, I got those.
Those, I think they were like $2 or something for like 100 of them, and I'm like,
Hmm.
huh, those actually work really well.
they're exceptional for doing car stereos. Um, you're talking the heat shrink tube with the solder in the
Uh-huh.
middle. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not something that I would have normally thought about buying, but since I had to add something else to the cart, I was like, okay. And since I had them, I decided to use one just to see. Oh, the motor's kind of disappointing. The engine's kind of disappointing. It only moves, it doesn't move the pistons. It only moves two rods.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at the construction video under it, and it looks like it should.
Yeah. I fast forwarded past all the construction stuff and went to the end to see what it actually did. And there's two rods that move up and down at the 808 mark. He's just finishing up. And maybe if you take the cap off, you could see it. I'm kind of disappointed by that.
I'm looking at the video on Bamboo Labs, and the pistons move,
Hmm.
and they did it in all gray.
All gray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what I'm calling a rod is what's supposed to be moving.
I mean, uh,
I've seen like inside the like at the Air Force Museum, they've got cutaways of some engines, and you could see the pistons moving inside the cylinders.
yeah.
That's what I
This,
that's what I thought we were going to see.
the front of this cylinder
Uh-huh.
comes off,
Okay.
and it has magnets holding the valve covers on
Okay.
and the side cover. I mean, he's putting the magnets in now. He even has a stand.
So if we took the valve covers off, we could see the pistons moving.
Well, you can see the valves moving. I, oh, okay. So this is where, yeah, that's all joined together in there.
Yeah. So I want a cutaway. I want to see.
Well, it is. Hold on, where was that? So go away. This line right here,
Yeah.
this the front of this piston comes off. I don't know if this one does as well. And it is a cutaway. You can see it, and that's held on with magnets.
Okay. Well, that wouldn't be so bad then. That's what that's what I thought. Why build a whole looking engine
That you
when
can't
the
see. Yeah.
when the cool part's inside? The cool fun part's inside. Uh,
But $10. You get a motor, some magnets, A bunch of little tiny plastic screws. Those I actually don't have. I've got all machine screws.
The uh the motor's connected to 5-volt
USB plug.
USB plug. So I have I have stacks of those. I know Ray has stacks of those motors.
Yep.
And other than maybe having to buy the magnets, I, I think there's plenty of stuff around here to make that work.
One of the things that I came across that I wanted to build and haven't started on is a trackball that has a, scroll ring around it,
Mm-hmm.
kind of similar to
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
Um, and the ring is on a ball bearing. I bought the ball bearing. It uses 72 magnets in the ring and 72 in the base so that it snaps to position. Or that's not right. It's got 72 in the ring and a Hall effect sensor to detect position of the ring, but the ring is mounted on a ball bearing. And I figured, well, shoot, if I like this thing, I'll build more than one. So I ordered 10 of the bearings and 1,000 of the magnets. If you ever need 2 millimeter by millimeter cylinder magnets, let me know. I got them.
Okay.
Or maybe they're millimeter by millimeter. I don't know. They're
Uh,
tiny.
Tiny. Well, you see, you probably already have the magnets you need for that motor.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Hmm.
Um,
Or engine. It's not a motor, it's an engine. Now see, in their whatever the teaser picture, it's all multiple colors and it's
mhm.
that's how I would print it. I would want to see different things doing different things and not all gray.
Mm.
I am kind of that endless loop train. That looks interesting. Ah,
So 4 buttons, a scroll ring, and a cue ball. Um, and this mouse sensor is very general purpose. You can do all sorts of stuff with it, but pretty basic. Yep, there's all the little magnets.
wow.
2 by 2 millimeter neodymium magnets.
Wow.
I have 1,000 of those.
Only needed 72. You were channeling Ray that day, weren't you?
Yep. I So if I bought 100 of them, it was going to be like $8. If I bought 500 of them, it was going to be 12. If I bought 1,000, it was $14. I'm like, what the hell?
I think that's what Ray does. It's cheaper
Yeah.
to buy them to buy a million of these things than it is not to.
And I really, really like a nice trackball.
I ended up with an older model. Can't see it. I ended up with an older model
Oh, yeah.
Logitech that there we go. It's got the scroll wheel on it.
Hmm. Do you know how hard it is to find one of those in left hand?
Probably impossible.
No, they did make them. They stopped making them after 2 years.
Okay.
So they're going for about $400 on eBay
Wow.
for used ones. And I just can't spend that much on a trackball.
I bought that one on eBay. I think I snagged it for 15 bucks
Oh,
and I like it, but I have sometimes one of the buttons um doesn't always engage
hmm
correctly. I've cleaned it a couple of times. I'm not real sure what's going on with it with the button. There's like one spot if I hit it, it will engage and then it immediately disengages. But anywhere else, it seems like it's fine. So, and of course, it's the one spot that my hand most naturally rests
yeah,
for. So, um, the only other thing is the trackball seem that the ball itself seems to pick up little bits of something,
yep,
and I'm having to constantly clean this stupid thing.
yeah. That's an issue with the Kensingtons. Does yours have ball bearings or rubies that the
Uh,
ball's supported on?
I cannot get the ball out of this one.
Really?
Yeah, so
I
I
mean,
don't.
like I've got this one. This is a Logitech,
Yeah,
and the should be the same ball.
it looks like the same ball. I've got that exact same mouse in the closet,
Yeah, this
and
one's easy to disassemble. I mean,
yeah,
it
the
comes apart on accident.
yes, and that was what I was expecting with this one, but no, I
There
have
should be a
pushed.
little hole you can get your pinky in and
Yeah,
just gently push.
I've pushed on it. I've pulled it. I've think the only way to do it is maybe take it apart. I I've found plenty of those that style
Mm-hmm.
on eBay missing the ball.
Yeah, well, I've got a
This
couple of spares.
this style here, all of them had the ball. So maybe Logitech, you know, figured
Yeah,
out, oh, it's a good design, but everybody keeps losing the ball. So they locked
I
the ball in a little bit better.
yeah. Well, this one, I mean, technically speaking, if you're gentle, I think you can turn it upside down. Yeah, the ball doesn't fall out, but it doesn't take much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've got that exact same one, and I used
Yeah,
that thing for years. I love that thing, but I have gotten so used to the scroll wheel.
yeah.
So I wanted one with the scroll wheel, and
So the reason I'm looking at building one is my current trackball is a Ploopy Adept. Let's set that there, which it's a 7 button trackball with a, I don't know what this is. It's a small billiard ball. Hold on. I'm sure at some point I measured it, but I forgot. No, it's getting inches. 45 millimeter ball, which is a standard size for a billiard ball somewhere. I don't know what. It's a small billiard ball, and it's got little ball bearing races in there.
hmm
So it's totally and it's 3D printed. It's completely repairable. You can buy the electronics for this thing with an RB20 or yeah, 2040 or Raspberry Pi 2040, whatever, and USB-C for 15 bucks and print the thing yourself. You can get a kit that has the bearings and the circuit board and everything for $20. It's coming out of Canada, and their dollar isn't so good right now,
Hmm.
so it works even better. And I like it. I really like it. But at work, I have a Kensington, what is this thing? Orbit trackball with scroll ring,
Yeah.
which I've used this thing for 10 or 12 years. I have like six of them because the switches are crap. And it used to be cheaper to just buy another one than it was to buy the switches. Now that's a $40 trackball.
Right.
And the switches I can get 10 for $2. So I've been going back through my old ones and replacing switches. I got this thing because it's uh, the Ploopy because it's programmable in VIA.
Okay.
I can make it do anything.
Make those buttons do whatever you want.
Yeah, but I still miss the scroll ring. I really, really, really want the scroll ring, which is why I was looking at building that one with all the little magnets and shit.
When I went when I went back, I've been using a mouse for a while, and when I went back to the trackball, it's like, oh, I so much love the trackball,
Hmm.
but I want a scroll wing, a scroll.
Yeah.
I really need the scroll.
Yeah.
So so the one thing, you know, that was one of the things that I programmed this to do
Hmm.
was scroll, and I was like, yeah, it works. It serves the purpose. It's not
Yeah.
the same. It's not on the mouse.
Give me a second. I'll be right back. So I wanted to try to get Marla interested in a trackball because I think, well, for me, it's a requirement because my desk is such a mess. It's the only thing I can use. Um, but she was complaining about some issues with her wrist and stuff. And so I found this thing. It's an Adesso with
Okay.
a little scroll wheel
Yeah.
on it. Adesso used to make really good stuff. This thing is such a piece of crap. It skips and I it's unusable. I I have no idea why it is as bad as it is, but yeah, it's a thing.
Well,
And I keep meaning to try to fix it somehow, but I don't know how to do that. It acts like the sensor is either too close or too far from the ball.
uh, that's weird. Well, that's what I was going to say about this trackball was when I got it, it was super fast. I mean, you just roll one time and you're halfway across the screen
Hmm.
or all the way across the screen. So I've been messing and resetting settings, and I finally got it to a comfortable spot, but now it's a little too slow. Now I have to roll the ball 4 or 5 times to get it to move halfway across the screen.
Yeah,
And
that's one of the.
I can't find just the right spot where it's not too slow and not too fast. A couple of rolls, maybe 3 rolls, that would be fine, but I'm at like 5 now.
That's one of the things I like about this Ploopy. It does dynamic acceleration in the mouse.
Oh, okay.
It's not software. I mean, it is, but it's not software in Windows or Linux or whatever.
Yeah.
So if you just barely move it, you get 1 pixel motion. If you spin it, it goes all the way across the screen.
See, that would be nice.
Yeah.
And I'm not real sure. I've always found the mouse settings in the Linux to be a little
Yeah.
finicky, but for the most part, they work well. You get a little older piece of hardware and they kind of freak out a bit. But I, I, I don't know. I've tried many different mice, and now I've got three trackballs. I like the Logitechs. They seem to work well, except this one, I may have to open it up. I may have to replace a button. I, that button may actually be going bad. I don't know.
So those switches are cheap. Um, there seem to be two kinds of them. The ones that are little squares
Yep. I don't
and
know
the
what's
ones
in
that are
this.
little rectangles. Most of the Logitechs that I've opened seem to be the little rectangles. Um,
Yeah.
I have a pile of them if you want. I can bring them to the next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I think these are rectangles. I think it was a rectangle when I opened it up and cleaned it. It wasn't it wasn't horrible. It's if I hold it if I hold it my in my natural position, that's where I notice that it doesn't really do what it's supposed to be doing. But if I hold it up above where I normally hold it, it's fine.
Hmm.
It's one of those weird things. It's feels unnatural to me to hold it like it wants to be held. But so I played around a little bit more with this large language model
Hmm.
thing. Um, I was kind of waiting to see if other people would show up. Our meetings are dying, Steve. It's Christmas time. Everybody's got
Yeah.
stuff to do. Got to wait for it to set up. I've got voice control for the robot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's harder to do than I thought it would be. It's setting up. Oh, excuse me. Okay. Robot, forward.
Nice.
Robot, faster. Robot, faster. Robot, faster. Robot, back up. Robot, backward. Robot, turn left. Robot, turn right. And I dropped the robot and broke the robot.
Oops.
Okay. What the heck? Oh, the
You
battery
can
came out.
rebuild it.
The battery came out when I dropped it.
Huh,
So this is it's basically just taking the voice input. It's not even running it through the large language model. And the weird thing, the hard part was it's adding extra characters when it prints it out onto the screen. So they're hidden characters. I have no idea what it's actually printing. I ended up having to just look for certain words for it. Like
huh,
instead of instead of turn left actually being turn left, it's just looking for the word left.
okay.
So it. I was I'm
Maybe it
very
tr- maybe it tries to turn background noise into
something.
something intelligible.
It could. It's working. It's also slow though. I mean, I had that other voice recognizer that
Hmm.
you didn't need to say the wake word every time. You could just talk to it. This I have to say the wake word every time, and then it has to go hi, and I'm like, yeah, I can't turn off the hi, but
Oh, I'm sure you could,
I
especially if you're using the large language model.
I was watching. What was I watching? Oh, I was watching a video, and somebody was using ChatGPT to create quizzes for them. So
Okay,
I'm going to see if I can't get this thing to create some quizzes using its language model. I don't know if I can or not. And then I could use the three buttons for the answers or whatever. And a long, long, long time ago, I had a little robot that I built that had an MP3 player and it would play random jokes. You'd just walk up to it, hit a button, and it would give you a random joke, and its eyes would light up and its mouth would twinkle while it was playing the MP3 file.
that's cool.
So I'm going to see if I can't turn this into a small joke robot. Just walk up, tell me a joke, hit a button. Here's your joke. So I can get Chat GPT to tell random jokes. So I don't know why it wouldn't be able to make random jokes up.
So I have a Google morning routine that gives me a couple of 5 minute snippets of news and then tells me a joke. It's drawing out of a pool of 11 jokes, if
Okay.
that. I mean,
Okay.
I've gotten the same joke 2 days in a row before,
Mm.
which I thought, so I said, okay, tell me a dirty joke. There's a lot more of those, and it doesn't. So I keep getting bad jokes. I mean, they're not even groaners. They're just meh, whatever. What do you call a belt made out of watches? A waste of time.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh,
So Google's AI on joke telling leaves much to be desired.
um, what was it? Gemini seemed like it was able to tell some decent jokes. And I don't know if they were, I don't know where some of these jokes came from, but I had Gemini tell me, um, I think I said, tell me a dad joke, and it told me a dad joke. Yeah, I don't I don't know. I haven't played enough to know if this can tell me a joke or not. I'm assuming that it will be because uh I mean it's a large language model. It should be able to stuff something together that resembles a joke
Yeah.
or tell me a riddle or so I mean it's full of I've asked it dozens and dozens of questions and it always comes up with an answer, so it's full of knowledge from something. But but yeah, I'm really just using the voice recognition to control the robot, which that's a $50 voice recognizer. That's an expensive voice recognizer. But I'm thinking, if you wanted to do home automation or something, and you still wanted the large language model so that you could ask various questions
Yeah.
and you wanted to turn on lights or you wanted to turn on certain lights, that you probably could do it doing more or less the same thing that I'm doing, looking for certain keywords
Yeah.
as you're talking.
One of the things I like about that is it seems that you can tell it to do a string of commands. And we've got an Alexa,
Hmm.
and oh, good Lord, Alexa, do this. Alexa, do this next thing. And you can't say, turn off the lights and play nature sounds. It just gets stupid. It doesn't do either.
I remember when we first got Google Home, could sit at and Thea would sit there and talk to it, and it would hold like a conversation with her, and it was an actual like conversation. And over the years, it has gotten stupid. I used to remember, you know, asking it something and then 10, 15 minutes later asking a follow-up question and it was like rattle off something that we hadn't talked about
Mhm.
for a while. And now you try to do that and it's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, whatever. I know you know this, but it's almost like they had decent AI back when it first started and it freaked everybody out and they dumbed it way the hell down. That was that was about the same time that they were trying to get it to be able to make phone calls and call for uh to set up reservations at restaurants and other stuff,
Mhm.
which I guess worked, but not the way they wanted. But I think that it was a lot better early in its life, and now it's just, I could turn
Uh,
lights on, I can do this, but you're not going to be happy.
yeah, I can, I got to give it that. I was a lot better when I was younger too.
Well, I remember, Thea was pretty little, and she would sit there and she would talk to it, and it would tell her nursery rhymes, and it would tell her all kinds of stuff. She would ask it about Frozen characters, and
Eh,
it would tell her all kinds of stuff. She can't get it to do any of that now.
That's the pay for options.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of digging this little $50 large language model. And I'm getting they came out with a new new version of the paper display,
Oh, nice.
which it's a little bit thinner. Um, it's got a lanyard on it so that you can make your make a name badge or whatever off
Okay.
of it's using an S3 now instead of a ESP32, which uh
I I think I'm going to have to go.
uh-oh.
There's there's a fire alarm going off downstairs.
That's not good.
I'm
Oh,
pretty sure it's just Christmas cookies, but I'll be back.
okay.
Probably. If you
I,
see flames come through the door, I probably won't be back.
yeah. Go take care of it. Hello, Mr. Art.
Hi there, how you doing?
All right, how are you doing?
Well, I just woke up actually. Went down for a nap and woke up when
I totally understand.
okay. So how's everybody today?
Um, pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know if you heard Steve hears a fire alarm going off, so he's going to go see what's going on there. So,
Oh, okay. I know I did not hear.
okay. So he may or may not be coming back. He'll probably be
Okay.
back. They're sounds like they're cooking cookies. So
Oh,
so they probably have just filled the room with smoke.
oh, okay. So we're 100% virtual today.
Yep.
Um, what's this? What's the status of the place in Mason anyway?
Okay, so um we have the room February 13th.
February 13th. Okay.
At
February 13th.
Yep. I was able to get our current location up until the 13th, and then the 13th was already booked for something else. Um, I told the lady, uh, well, via email. I haven't actually talked to her, but I told her who we were, that we've been around for a while, and we're kind of looking for a new home to go to.
Okay.
Um, and we kind of want to be consistent. They pretty much have um the same rule as Midpoint. You can book 2 times a month,
Okay.
um, and you can book up to 2 months ahead of time. But
That sounds identical, I guess.
yeah, it's pretty much the same rule. Um, but the one librarian that I did talk to, who was not in charge of the room, said people really don't use that room. And if we're really wanting to meet regularly, we probably can book that room far in advance. So,
Okay.
um, or have a standing reservation for that room on Thursdays. So,
No, so now this is in Mason.
right.
Okay. So, okay, I'm not an expert on the area, but so if I were coming north on 275 to 71, and then I go northeast on 71.
Okay.
Where do I get off and where do I go?
I believe. Let me Google it. Let me make sure, because
Okay.
what I think and what is maybe two different things.
Okay.
Um, I am not in St. Louis. Why do you always seem to think I'm in St. Louis?
Okay.
I don't. What I want to know is what the name of that exit is. Um, it's
That
it's
isn't.
it's the Kings Island exit. Um,
Oh, so it's north of the Fields Erdel exit then.
yeah. I don't know what that exit.
So it's the Kings Island exit, and then you
And
go north from there.
okay, so you get off. I don't know if that's marked as Tylersville Road there, or if it's marked as the Kings Island exit, but it's Tylersville Road.
Okay.
So from that side, you would turn right onto Tylersville Road. It looks like, oh, probably 2 miles. You'd get to State Route 42.
Yeah.
You would turn left onto Tylersville Road and turn right onto 42. And from there, it would be less than a quarter of a mile on the right.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Well, I will
Steve
definitely.
Steve might know what that
Uh,
actual exit is called. Off of 71, the Kings Kings Island exit right there.
Okay.
Is that Tylersville Road exit, or is that
No. Um,
it's something?
it's two words.
Kings Mills?
No,
No. Western Row.
that's
It's
it.
so you turn left on the Western Row that turns into Tylersville Road.
Hmm.
That's it.
okay.
Okay. Now we
What's
know
down
where.
there?
Well, Art was asking where the library was.
Oh, okay.
If he comes from his way, he wouldn't come to 71 or 75. He would come up 71. So,
So it's essentially between 71 and 75, but
Hmm.
closer to 71.
yes, I would say
So,
that would be a fair statement from my perspective. 75 is closer, but because
okay.
I
Okay.
live on 75 or just off of 75.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. So so basically it's a facility that would be satisfactory, and in spite of the fact that they have this only 2 times a month, it
Which
probably because of low usage would be available to us all the time, every week.
um I don't want to put words in the mouth, but the the way the one librarian sounded like it was possible that was a
Okay.
possibility. Um,
Okay.
the official website says 2 times a month. So,
Okay. Well,
which is that's no different than what we're doing now. So,
yeah, yeah. Okie doke.
so even if the uh, librarian that's in charge of the room were to say, yes, I will put you ahead, but you can only have the room 2 times a month. We're no, we're no better. We're no worse. I mean,
Okay.
at least we would have the room.
Okay. Do you know how their Wi-Fi is?
I do not. We're
Okay.
going to find all that out.
Okay. So, that would be the 20th of February then?
13th.
Oh, the 13th of February. Okay.
13th. Yeah.
Okay.
The day before Valentine's. Mm.
Dave.
Oh boy.
I didn't even think about that. That's probably why the room's booked at midpoint. They're probably having Valentine's parties or something. So
Well,
there's no real, from what I could tell, there's no real difference in rules or whatever. The biggest thing I saw on their website was the meetings have to be open to the public, have to be open to everyone. That's fine. We could always use new people. And no commercial enterprises being held in their free room, which
okay, that's reasonable.
that's reasonable. So the
Oh,
rules
very.
really aren't a whole lot different than what we're dealing with now. It's just a less used room that potentially could be a better fit because midpoint is getting to be very, very popular. So
Well, Midpoint's a nice library, and it's easy to understand why that is.
this is a it's a smaller library for sure, but it from what I saw, it's a pretty nice library. So
Okay, very
uh,
good.
um,
Now, you
It,
said this library, the library in Mason, or all the libraries in Warren County, are independent. They are
yeah,
not part of a cluster of libraries. Okay.
right. Um, so the librarian that I talked to, she said, basically what that means is if you check a book out from us, it has to be returned to us. You can't take it
Okay.
somewhere else. Um,
Okay.
and I mean that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
um, they are. She said um, there's only 5 libraries in Warren County, and all 5 of them are independents.
Okay. Well, I only do ebooks, and I only do them online using Libby or some other tool.
Yeah.
So, it wouldn't affect me one way or the other. I've
Well,
gotten past using physical books because I always discover I haven't returned them about a month after they're due.
yeah.
But
Well,
I like the ebooks and the Libby tool. So
and there's no real reason to even get a different library card because you're you're getting, all your downloads and whatever now. So
yeah,
it,
well, basically, I once you're in the Ohio digital library system, you've got access to all ebooks
yeah,
in the
in the
entire
system. Yeah.
Ohio system.
Yeah. Yeah, and uh they they support all that stuff too there. It's just, basically physical stuff. If you
Yeah,
check a book out, it has to be returned to them. So,
yeah.
um, they still have um, it they still have a group there that sells books
Sells
for
books.
uh, pre uh pre-COVID. Midpoint used to have book sales every 6 months or so.
These were just surplus physical books, or
Yeah, well, it was the Friends of the Library, and
uh-huh.
they they would raise money and donate the money back to the library, but they were using the library books that
As inventory.
as inventory. It was such a weird. It, basically, volunteers would go and sell the books for the library, and uh, post 2020, um, Midpoint just seems like they're giving them the stuff away now. They set books out on a cart that say free or take home or whatever. So I
But
don't
this
know
is
where they're getting their money from, but that was the very first thing when I walked into this Mason library. There's a little table out front, and it's got books 50 cents, 25 cents. I'm like,
hmm.
okay, that's fair. I mean, given they're an independent library, they probably don't have the funds like a big library would have.
Um, being
Selling.
that it's in Mason, they probably got better funds than you think.
Yeah, she said they were funded pretty well. So
Yeah.
and and I just found it interesting. It's one of those things you used to see that all the time, and now you don't see that so much. The little library in Monroe that is also an independent library. They have book sales. So
So I
I
wonder to what degree these small libraries in are actually purchasing new physical books. Um, I don't know if their long-term plan is to go 100% ebooks or not.
I hope not.
yeah,
I like books. I like
I
the way paper smells.
these are
Yeah,
all
okay.
these are all questions to ask, I guess. But I have no idea. I she seemed to imply that Mason was very generous and the people in Mason were very generous to the
Well,
library.
I think
So
the demographic in Mason is fairly comfortable.
yes, I would say that that is probably true.
Okay.
But I did ask about a makerspace, and surprisingly, they don't have one, which may or may not be surprising. Most of the people I saw in the library were older people. They weren't, you know, high school kids or whatever trying
Yeah.
to print stuff. Um, so they're definitely using their money for something other than, technology.
Well, I don't know. Maker spaces have got to suck up a lot of funds, I would think. That one there at midpoint's got to be
Oh, yeah.
big chunk of the overall budget. And keep in mind that for to have a maker space, you also have to have people who can support it, which in a lot of library systems, given that they tend to support older folks,
Hmm.
I use that term advisedly these days. It's not surprising that they
Yeah,
mm,
well, given the as you said, the demographic in Mason, a makerspace may not even matter to a whole lot of the people there.
yeah.
And given that midpoint is 3-ish miles away, and on the other, if you come up north to Middletown, I mean that's 18 miles. So
Hmm.
both of those libraries have maker spaces. So
Oh, that's true.
it's not like you're very far from a maker space. It's just they don't have one.
Yeah,
So, I think I think the 13th will be a decent test to
yeah,
see
good.
if if for some reason the Wi-Fi doesn't work or whatever. Of course, there for a while we were going through those growing pains of Wi-Fi not working at midpoint too. And
Yeah, it was pretty flaky there for a while.
yeah, yeah. So it's not like we haven't dealt with some of this stuff. It's just, we may have to start dealing with it again.
Yeah,
Um, I I'm pretty excited to try something new though. It's
well, that's great.
so
That's great.
uh I
So we'll look forward to the 13th.
yeah.
Hopefully, at that point, I will be back in California. Hopefully, by that point, I will be back in Ohio. That we've ticked off a few benchmarks in the medical area recently, so with a little luck, we'll be back there.
Cool. That would be great.
So, well, it's good to see you guys. I apologize for my late arrival. I don't know. I felt like a nap around noon, and I laid down and I conked out. I don't know what happened, but I just conked out. And what was it? It was about 3:30, noon my time in California. So it'd be 3 o'clock in your time. And I didn't wake up until 6:30, and I thought, gee, I wonder what time it is.
Well,
And
that's
surprise, surprise, it was.
well, like we were talking about earlier. Me and Patty got up early this morning and went to Five Below and did some Christmas shopping and some other stuff. And we got back here around 1 o'clock, and I pretty much fell on the couch and just went to sleep. I was like, I'm done. So I totally understand. I'm just like,
So how's she doing? Because she was having, I don't know, I don't
yeah,
know, I don't know if she had COVID or she had flu or what she had.
she is like 100% better. It's um yeah, it was a stomach virus that she had. She may have had something on top of that, but she finally listened to somebody and finally just, instead of running and doing and running and running and doing, she finally just slept for a couple of days, and you know, stuff
Well, that's
stuff
good.
is better. You
That's
know,
good.
um,
So, are you guys seeing a lot of COVID out there?
I guess there's some. I don't. I think what hit us this past time was that stomach virus. That hit us. Uh, I don't know so much about COVID. You seen? Have you seen too much COVID? No. You're muted, Mr. Steve. Stop talking.
Uh, I wouldn't notice, honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I mean, Patty's out in the at Kroger's, every day or every other
Well,
day.
she's exposed to the general public.
Yeah, I'm usually home, so I usually don't see a whole lot of sick people or anything. So
Well, do you have your granddaughter over? Not much.
no, so that situation has been resolved at least for now. Um, there's some stuff going on that I probably shouldn't say over the internet,
Yeah.
and we may end up with her again, and we'll welcome her back, but we really haven't seen her for a while, which is kind of
Well,
sad.
well, that's too bad. Of course, the key thing with having a um, youngster around is you always have exposure to some sort.
Everything.
Oh
Something.
yeah, they're like little petri dishes, man.
Well, I mean that's
Everything they get, the culture.
that's pretty much where we think, the stomach virus came from was on Thanksgiving when everybody was here and all the kids were here and all the grandkids were here.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you know, we can we could pretty much kind of stay in our own little bubble. I mean, Patty is exposed more than me, but to get sick pretty much right after everybody leaves, that pretty
That
much,
kind of a smoking gun, so to speak.
yeah, pretty much says thanks for thanks for coming to Thanksgiving and giving me this damn stomach virus.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't come back to my house, please.
Mhm.
But no, we she's with her mommy, she's with her daddy. That's where she needs to be. And
Yeah.
I'm happy that she's happy. It's a little sad that we don't get to see her so much because I mean she we pretty much watched her for the first 7, 8 years of her life. I mean that was
Uh-huh.
so, but she needs to be with her mommy because
Yeah. Now, how old is she now?
she would be 9 and she'll be 10 soon, I believe. Um, maybe 6 months she'll be 10 years old.
Okay.
So she's getting there. She really likes her school, and when we talked to her, the few times we've talked to her, she likes going to school. She likes math still. She still likes, you know, playing video games and doing all the fun kid stuff that she was doing. So,
Okay. Well, that's good.
yeah, but, but yeah, um, they live in Middletown now. We
So they're not far away then, I take it.
they're not that far. And I have taken her to school a couple of times because he needed an extra hand, so it's not that big a deal. But she doesn't just come over to the house and hang out like she was.
Okay.
So that's all I know. I don't know anything else. But as far as the meeting, we were playing around more with this large language model
Oh yeah.
unit. So I got it. I don't want to take a picture. I'll I'll boot it up again. I got it to kind of drive this robot a little bit.
Oh great.
I'm using I'm using just the um, speech recognition out of it. I'm not really using the uh, large language model part, but it still has to boot up and it still has to initialize all the stuff. So it's takes it a couple of seconds to do all that. So now it says to say the wake up word is robot
Okay.
forward. And
Okay.
robot speed up. Robot speed up. Robot slow down. Robot turn left. I don't know if you saw that, but the wheels changed direction.
Yeah.
Robot turn right. Robot backward.
It's a little hard because of the synchronization
Yeah,
with the
the
video to tell which way it's going.
the camera is
Definitely easier at slower speeds.
Yes.
robot slow down. Robot
Yeah.
slow down. Robot forward. Robot turn left. This wheel looks like it's moving a whole lot faster.
Mm-hmm.
Robot turn right. So yeah, it's kind of the camera doesn't capture it real well, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. Robot, stop. Not up. Stop. Robot, stop. There we go.
Now, is this strictly English or can you toggle to other languages?
This is as far as I know, this is just English.
Okay.
Um, you might remember, oh God, it's probably been good 3 months. It's probably been longer than that, but I had a different recognizer that
Yeah.
I could train. It it had 100 and some odd words in it, but you could train like 10 extra words to do it. And those could, since you could train other words, you could make gibberish up and it would
Oh, okay.
do it. This not so much. It is what it is. But see, I'm not training any words in this, right? I didn't
Okay.
train it for forward. I'm picking forward up as the key word to make the robot go forward, but I didn't train any words. I could say almost anything in here, and as long as it said one of those words was forward, it would make the robot go forward.
Okay.
And I can't demonstrate that now because I just unplugged everything because I wasn't thinking. But the big difference with this is um there's no training to it. Like when I said stop, it heard up twice.
Uh-huh.
Why did it hear up? I have no idea because I said stop. So um so its recognition is good, but it's not perfect.
Okay.
Um as I was telling Steve, I'm thinking about a long, long time ago. I made a little robot that told jokes. I want to turn this into a joke telling machine.
Okay.
Um,
Keep it friendly.
Why?
we'll see what it comes up with. Um, and there's also I saw a video of somebody who used Chat GPT to make trivia questions. I am fascinated by that because if this thing can give me trivia questions, I could program the three buttons for the answer. Give me give me a multiple choice quiz with three choices, A, B, or C.
That's cool. That is very cool.
So I am fascinated by that. That might actually be something that would be cool to do because, it you could pick trivia out of all kinds of topics and if it could
Oh yeah.
if it can do that. Um, but controlling the robot was one of the things that I thought this could do, and it does it fairly well. It's a little slow. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it does work.
Now, what is the protocol that is communicating with there?
It's just talking over serial.
No, no, no. You got a wireless protocol that it's
Oh,
talking.
ESP now.
ESP now.
Yep.
Okay.
So, um, you know,
Is
that's
is that a modification of Bluetooth or
no,
uh,
it's more of a sub layer of Wi-Fi.
oh, okay.
Um,
So it's fairly energy intensive then, because Wi-Fi sucks a lot of energy.
yeah, um, it, ESP now has been around since the early days of the ESP 8266,
Okay.
and um, I think it was kind of discovered that it's kind of one of those weird things that somebody discovered that um, you don't actually need to be connected to a Wi-Fi network as long as you know the MAC addresses of the devices and you can send
Okay.
messages back and forth using the MAC addresses. The ESP32s um, do that a little bit different than the originals. The originals you kind of needed to know the MAC address to, and then you could set up a communication between those two.
Okay.
These can broadcast their MAC address, and this could pick
Oh,
up that a MAC address is being broadcast, and it syncs together. And
okay.
actually, that's backwards. This will broadcast the MAC address, and this,
Okay.
but
Cool.
it 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 doesn't matter which one is which, as long as they can talk to each other. And it's kind of a master slave kind of deal. Um, but
So,
you can have one device broadcast out to many over ESP now. And it's supposed to be like a quick transmission, like a quick burst. So it should be better than
okay.
Wi-Fi. Whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it should be. It should be
Okay.
more energy efficient. It's not using it's using the 2.4 gigahertz, but it's not using it the way you you would use Wi-Fi. It's just on the Wi-Fi frequencies.
Okay. So,
And it's using it's using part of TCP, I think, because you do have to include the Wi-Fi library to get it to work. But
okay.
um, it's an interesting protocol, and it supposedly it's low power, and supposedly it's can get better distances than a traditional Wi-Fi connection.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't know how true any of that is.
So it has a battery in it, does it?
Uh, the robot does
Yeah.
that. The battery went bad in that a long time ago, so I yanked the battery and got rid of it. So no, this doesn't have a battery.
I thought that was relatively new.
Well, the large language model is just a module on it.
Ah, okay.
And yes, the large language model is relatively new, but there's no battery in that sucker. That little connector right there was the battery. It's for the
Mm-hmm.
battery. And that battery went bad a long time ago.
So the large language module does not have an internal battery, a rechargeable battery or whatever.
No.
Interesting.
No, and um if you ask it certain things like you would expect, like, time related or whatever, it'll tell you that it doesn't have access to know any of that stuff. So,
Oh, okay.
um, I've said and talked to it quite a bit just to see what it can and can't do. But the whole trivia thing, I saw that a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, that is so cool. I need to see if I can make that do that. And yeah, that's the inside of the large language model. The other side,
Okay.
no battery, just memory and flash storage and memory. Uh,
Okay. So the original battery was one of these coin batteries or what?
no, it was flat a flat pack
Oh, okay.
LiPo. It's tiny. 200 milliamps or something. It didn't even last long, even when it was good. And so when it starts to when it started to expand and wouldn't take a charge anymore. It was just time to make it go away.
Started to expand.
Well, you know, the
as
old
they do.
the old batteries, the old lipos,
Yeah.
as they break down, the packs start to expand and bubble up, and that's when they get dangerous.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
That's when it's time to make them go away
Okay.
before they burst into flames.
You ever want to see something interesting and you have a spare lithium cell, especially if it's a real small one? It's interesting to crack one open and drop it in a bucket of water.
Yeah, well, lithium and water.
They do
Yeah,
mix really
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, right.
yeah. So, you know, most of the M5 stack stuff does have batteries in it, but
Okay.
depending upon the age, I think they cheaped out on some of the batteries. I mean, the newer stuff seems like it's really, really good with power management and battery management. The older stuff, uh, you're taking a chance anymore. So,
So,
and
what's the life of a lipo battery, either in cycles or just chronological age?
I have I don't have any good answer for that.
In theory, you're supposed to be able to charge a lipo about 3,000 times in the, what is it, LiFo 4, lithium polymer iron something.
Yeah.
Those are supposed to be about 5,000 cycles. And you can actually get those relatively inexpensively at this point. They're about the same price as lead acid batteries. I just got one to replace a UPS battery not long ago. It was $30. And it's a 12 volt replacement battery. It acts like a 12-volt battery. It is programmed to show the same charge curve as a 12 volt. It charges to what appears to be 14 volts by the UPS. In that thing, it should last 10 years. So,
Okay.
Yeah. I I think the next car battery I buy is going to be a lipo.
mm,
Um, because they've gotten really good with the replacement lead acid, get rid of the lead acid and
yeah.
use the lipos. And uh
And it weighs a third as much, if
oh
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And in that for that Crown Vic, the lead acid was it was right around $200, and I think the lipo was right under it. It was a hair cheaper. I was like,
Oh,
that's crazy.
Ah.
and it should last at least 3 times as long
So, um,
and probably produces more overall current. The cold cranking amps are going to be a little bit lower, not enough you'll notice, but it should be able to put out power for a long time.
yeah,
How about cold sensitivity? Like you know,
They are.
they are cold sensitive.
Yeah, but so are lead acid batteries. There was a cool trick where if your car wouldn't start in the winter, you put a set of jumper cables on it and short them out for 2 seconds. And that heated up the battery enough that now it produces enough current to crank your battery or your starter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can probably do that with a lithium battery as well.
Okay.
I I had a couple of lithium batteries a long time ago that refused to take a charge, and that's exactly how I got them to take a charge. I shorted the positive and negative for very short period of time, just enough
Yeah.
just enough, and it kickstarted them again to take a to start to take a charge. So it can be done. It's not the wisest thing in the world to do, but
I was going to say, you, you wouldn't
hey,
want to pause too long. Short enough.
oh
Same with lead acid though.
yeah,
That's
I've
true.
I've done some crazy stuff with lead acid batteries, and I think I have more of a fear of the lithium polymer because lead acid, I mean, you get acid on your skin, you got a few minutes to wash it off. You get lithium a little bit embedded in your
Oh
skin,
yeah,
that really stings.
yeah.
Patty's bringing me food,
Yep.
so
Yeah, I got to run too.
I so
Okay, well,
we will see it. We're virtual next week. Actually, do we want to be virtual next week? It's the day after Christmas, or do we just
Boxing
want,
Day, Boxing
or do
Day.
we just want to wait till January?
It's up to you guys.
I go either way. I don't
We'll
even
figure
know if
we'll
I'm going to be
figure it
doing
out.
anything.
We'll figure it out.
That
I'll
works.
see you guys later.
Take
Good
care.
night.
All right,
Have a
bye.
have a have a good week.
You too.